what is the role of a chief investment officer? I describe it as the 3 Ps: people, process, and performance, right? So ultimately, the people making the investment decisions at BNY Mellon, right? That's the role of the chief investment officer, to make sure that you've got the right people making the investment decisions. Probably the most important P, process. What is your investment process? How do you decide how much to put in stocks versus bonds versus cash versus real estate, private equity, commodities, and when do you make those decisions, right? That's all part of your investment process. And ultimately, you know, the buck stops here, right? Performance. So I usually get drawn into client meetings really when it's an opportunity to close a large piece of business, or when we have to defend, right, what a client may deem to be inferior performance. And I can tell you that after the year 2008, I was really busy going to a lot of client meetings, right? And I learned something very interesting about the asset and wealth management business. I've spent, I used to say half my career, it's not quite half my career, in the institutional money management business, right? A number of my years at Deutsche Bank, I was the CIO for the institutional asset management business, pension funds, right? We did have a mutual fund complex. But I could go to a pension fund at the end of 2008, and they would understand the notion of relative performance, right? In 2008, at year-end 2008, if you were down 20% in your portfolio, and you had a balanced portfolio of stocks and bonds, you were in the top decile of all money managers in the United States, and you were down 20%. So I could go to an institutional investor who would sort of understand that, and they would say, your relative performance is actually quite good in a very difficult market. When you're meeting with high net worth individuals who've worked hard, right, to save $10 million in assets, and at the end of 2008, you say, you now have $8 million in assets. That's a hard meeting, and they don't care if you're in the top decile, top quartile, you've lost $2 million. Right? And that's the difference between absolute performance and relative performance. And at least to me, right, that helped define for me, you know, the wealth management business versus the pure institutional asset management business.